So I know I haven't posted in a while, but I wanted to just do a little recipe tonight. I'll be cooking dinner. I'm gonna cook pot roast with vegetables, cabbage, baked mac and cheese, and cornbread. So I'll have the recipe listed in the description below. But I'm just going to show you guys maybe some new beginners who don't know how to make pot roast or cabbage, or I am not the greatest at baked mac and cheese, I'll tell you that. But hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Don't mind, if you don't mind, leave a comment, press the like button, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and light my eye up, and I'm going to put that on a medium. I'm going to go ahead and add some oil, not too much, just enough to cook on both sides of the pot roast. While it's heating up, I'm going to go ahead and start my crock pot. I'm going to go ahead and put that on high and get this ready for the pot roast. Alright, once your pot roast has come to a nice fry, I usually just go ahead and I season my first side. Now that's pepper, onion powder. I like a little spice, so I'm going to add just a bit of red cayenne pepper. I'm going to do some seasoning salt, some Italian seasoning, and some rosemary. So I'll let that continue to cook for, I don't know, maybe about 3-4 more minutes. And then I'm going to flip it and do the same exact thing. Okay, as you can see, we've browned the side that was in the grease. So again, I'm going to go ahead and re-season. Okay, so now if you notice, the sides are pretty pink. So I'm just going to go ahead and lift the pot roast up and kind of brown the sides until I've made my way back to the starting point. And as you can see, the sides are browning. Whoops, sorry about that. This thing can be a little sticky and I'm scared to put my hand on it, so. Pitchfork, I discovered, like, that's the most easiest, safest way. Alright, so all sides are pretty much brown or darkened at least. So I'm going to go ahead and put this pot roast on into the crock pot. It's $12.49. The plan is to cook it for 6 hours on high. Okay, so I've gone ahead and chopped all of my vegetables, which is just carrots. They're kind of soaking. Red baby potatoes, and just a regular white onion. Alright, so I've added all my vegetables. If you look close, you'll see the pot roast under there. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and re-season with the same seasons that I used in the beginning for the pot roast. Okay, now that everything has been seasoned, I'm going to go ahead and add my broth and my French onion seasoning. So this is what the pot roast and vegetables are going to marinate in for the remainder of the cooking time. Right, so French onion. I think this stuff is so delicious. And I went ahead and added two cans. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add my beef broth. Honestly, I typically use about a half of the, what is this, 32 ounces. So, you know, I use about 16, half of the carton, and then I just kind of eyeball it from. Alright, so there we have it. Like I said, I'm going to let this cook for about 6 hours on high, and maybe an hour before cooking time is done, we're going to move on to the sides. Alright, so I have placed the macaroni, the elbow macaroni, with a nice amount of salt into a pot to be boiled. Sorry, it is completely foggy. And alright, so I've taken a nice amount of Gouda cheese,
and Gruyere cheese, 2 blocks of that. And now I will proceed to shred all 3 of these blocks of cheese. Alright, so I have my baking sheet ready. And I'm going to go ahead and start the cornbread. I have my vanilla cake mix that I purchased from Kroger, which is super moist. And then I have my Jiffy Cornbread, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix the 2 together. So right now it's just the flour base. And then I'm going to go ahead and do each individual recipe and then mix together as one.
I said, you know.
Alright, so I went ahead and added 1 egg to my Jiffy, Jiffy Cornbread. And then I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of milk. Alright, so we have milk. And I believe we're going to stir it up, but just to be sure, I'm going to check out the direction. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and stir this up until a nice liquidy composition. Alright, so with the cake mix, I'm going to go ahead and add my 1 cup of water, a 1/2 cup of olive oil, or I'm sorry, vegetable oil. I use olive, whatever. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and add these 3 eggs to my cake batter. Alright, so I've added my 3 eggs, and now I'm going to go ahead and add my cornbread into my cake batter. So now that I've added the cornbread mix and the cake mix, I'm just going to go ahead and stir it up until everything has basically come together. And I've already preheated the oven to 350. And my mac and cheese is done, but I've got to put it in the oven. So I'm going to go ahead and pour my mix until the bacon pan. Alright, so I've placed the cornbread inside of its dish, and now I'm going to go ahead and put it in the oven. I did add a tad bit more oil, but the edges will be nice and crisp. So yeah, the mac and cheese, I just put a stick of salted butter in the pot. Now I'm going to add 1 carton of heavy whipping cream. So I went ahead and I put a stick of butter, and then I added the carton of heavy whipped cream, and I went ahead and added the shredded cheese, the Gouda, and the other name, which I can't think of at the moment. I've added black pepper, salt, paprika, and garlic powder. And so now I'm going to go ahead and add the cheese and mix it up. Alright, so I went ahead and I added my mac and cheese, and now I'm just going to go ahead and stir it on up. So I'm going to go ahead and pour the mac and cheese into the cooking pan. Balls. So I have preheated my skillet again. And I'm going to go ahead and place 1 stick of butter into the skillet and let that melt. Alright, so I've melted my butter. I'm going to go ahead and add some Parmesan cheese. Honestly, I'm really eyeballing it. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my bag of breadcrumbs, panko crumbs. So I'm just going to do 1 bag. And if you see the color, I'm going to put this in there until it's brown. I'm going to go ahead and add some poultry season just to give this more of a slight chicken flavor. Alright, so I went ahead and added the breadcrumbs to the macaroni. And now I'm going to go ahead and bake it for maybe another 25 minutes. So now I have the cornbread cooking as well as the baked mac and cheese. Alright, so I've set my cabbage to a nice medium. And I'm going to go ahead and put the cabbage into the pot. And then I'm going to add a stick of butter. perfect. And I'm gonna go ahead and season it. Also, I'm just gonna add about 1 cup of chicken broth. And I'm gonna cover this pot up and allow it to cook for about 45 minutes to an hour. I have my cabbage that is all freshly made, my fresh cornbread, my mac and cheese, and my pot roast. It smells absolutely amazing. Alright, so this is the final product of what I've made. I'm gonna go ahead and feed a couple of friends tonight. But we have the pot roast, the cabbage, the cornbread with a slight bit of a vanilla cake, and this amazing macaroni and cheese. Hopefully the recipe works for you guys, but if it doesn't, or if it does, if you don't mind, go ahead and leave a comment below, and don't forget to hit the like button. All right, bye.